All right, Shalom. Before we go any further within this lesson, I'm going to open up by giving all praises, honor, and glory with infinite blessings unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha HaKodash. All right. I also want to give double honors to our beloved other bishops and to the other apostles of Great Millstone that teach well and that rule well, with much blessings and salutations always going out to the Lord's elect, all right, and to the hopeful elect which are tuning in, all right, and the men laboring within these truth. Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashim Dash Barakatham unto you and into your households, all right, wherever you may be in these last days, man, these few segments of, the wicked being in rulership, bro, being in power, all right. But, I just wanted to speak on this, all right, because, yeah, bro, it's never going back to normal, bro, all right. The way that this world is set up right now and how Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has these things, all right, coming to pass, man, which is prophecy, the same thing we were giving you warning from, telling you about, all right, it's here, all right, and you think this is crazy, man, all right, just wait till you see the gas prices increasing, man, wait till you see the inflation, all right, the spikes in prices, all right, when it comes to you trying to get a water bottle, bro, it's gonna get bad, bro. It's gonna get bad. All right, now check it out.
Man, hell no. This is where I draw the line at, man. 79 cents for one bag of the little mans, and three when they was 25 cents, and three for $2. Oh, man, extortion and all types of fuckery. 79 cents, man. This where we at with it now. 3 for $2. I'm about to pop. Hey, look. Hey, man, listen here, man. You listen good, man. Man, hell.
Yep. Really, man, it's just cause this place is falling. All right, this place is going down. Let me see. So let's get this right quick. All right. As the scripture says, man, the city of confusion, all right, it's being broken down, bro. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 24, and verse 10. Actually, we can start at verse 9. Salakia. Whew. Damn. Isaiah 24 and verse 3. It says, the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord Yahweh hath spoken this word. All right. And that's exactly what's coming to this place. All right. What the Lord has set out for America, Babylon the Great. Okay, it's the same, things that it has dished out to other nations, to the rest of these nations, man. I don't know if you've been seeing these things or, picking up particular situations, or, watching certain things, but, the brothers and, sisters, I know you watching, but for the rest of you people, man, bro, this place is turning into a third world country. right? The more that the lawlessness of this place increases, the more, all right, this place is, circling the drain. All right. And the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, all right, has said that these things are to happen, bro. We're going to see evils. All right. Jake tweaking over, or getting triggered over, a bag of chips, in which, it just goes to show you that prophecy is real. Because even I can remember, back then, being younger, and not even that, bro, just a couple months ago, a year to a couple months ago, man, those chips weren't that much. Growing up, those chips were 2 for 50 cents. But bro, that just goes to show you, this is not a joke. All right, prophecy is on your ass. All right, prophecy is on the ass of everybody. All right, and everyone that hasn't, all right, subscribed to the truth. All right, that hasn't came back to Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, these things, that's going on. Time is not on y'all side. All right, because truthfully, man, the Lord has things set up, appointed things, all right, that is going to happen within your lives, within our lives. Okay, regardless if you acknowledge it, you try to hide it, you try to cope with it by doing certain things, in which that's what people do. They're trying to cope with the reality. Cope. They're trying to get over the truth. To get over what's really going on and what's really taking place. All right. Cope. Let me see if I can spell that right. In which, man, it's in your face, bro. It's in your face. It's at your job. It's in your home. Okay, it's amongst your children, your family. All right. Basically the will of the Lord, bro. Okay. Your pockets is feeling it. You're working more hours. Your body's feeling it. You're getting tired, distracted. Okay. Can't catch a break. Constantly got to fix certain stuff. The food you're eating is getting worse. You can taste it, and you can definitely feel it because your body is reacting in certain ways. All right. But guess what? These are all things in which Yahweh Shema Shai said that he was going to bring. These are all things that are written within the book. All right. And so that's where you can grab that, because the scripture speaks about the inflation. All right. And you got people in the comment, majority is Jake. This is a sign, bro. This ain't nothing, to gather around and and wish for the old times, the old days. All right. Because, bro, this shit is over. All right. And Jake just going in the comments wishing, about a time where everything was good, dandy. Okay, the times of nostalgia. But guess what, man? The Lord said the fucking hell with that shit. All right. The Lord said, it's done with that. All right. Because, you Jakes, you got to wake up, bro. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 5 and verse 15. It says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. You think it's just because, due to the, the inflation or recession, which really, all right, yeah, it's due to that. But, bro, let's go back to the source. Why is this recession happening? Why is this happening? Okay. We currently in a recession? And if so, will it increase? All right. So I asked the ChatGPT, I said, are we currently in a recession? And if so, will it increase? It says, as of August 2026, the U.S. economy is not universally considered to be in a recession, which it says considered, which we can see. All right. It says, though there are ongoing debates among economists, a recession is defined simply by 2 quarters of negative GDP, gross domestic point. I think that's what it goes into. It says, in the U.S., the National Bureau of Economic Research determines, okay, and which really, it's inflation, bro. All right. A recession is, the failing, which we can go into that real quick. All right. You're seeing the down point of the collapse of this society. All right. So it's not progressing, bro. It's getting worse. Recession. All right. It says act of receding. All right. And going back. And going backward. Withdrawing and going back. All right. And that's what's going on. The Lord is departing. He's taking away, because, it says depart to retire. All right. To go back, fall back. All right. He's taking away, all right, certain benefits and mirth, the goods. All right. In the land of America, bro. So Isaiah 24. All right, because we don't even get into this. All right. All right, and it says we should have been layoffs, slow and hiring. Well, actually, we probably could, but let's just grab this Isaiah 24 real quick. All right, so we're done with that. Read this Sirach and Isaiah 24. So the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 15, it says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small, because guess what? This is going to grow into something way greater. All right, which is going to lead to, final collapse of this society, bro. All right, as the book of Ezra tells us, certain things which is going to take place, man, due to, all right, the civil, due to this, inflation, all right, and really the collapse of the society, man, the downfall of Babylon the Great. But it says, there are signs that some sectors or households may feel like they're in one. It says inflation has remained elevated, okay, which means to constantly go up, compared with pre-2020 levels, even if it has eased from its peak. So it's a constant inflation going up, bro. And this is why people are online in their vehicles, all right, ranting and flipping out, man. Okay, they're sighing and crying, but not due to the abominations. They're sighing and crying because the Lord is putting prophecy on their ass, man. All right. And, basically, it's getting harder to live. The means of living, okay, you gotta, bro, you gotta pay for everything. But it's getting hard. The expenses of living is getting harder. Okay. And this devil is, coming down, crushing the working class, the people. Right? Who owns the money, bro? All right. It says some industries have seen layoffs or slower hiring. All right. Which many people are doing that. It says many people continue to feel pressure from housing costs, groceries, and interest rates. And who owns all that, man? These small hats, these banking families. They own the housing companies. They own the grocery stores, these chain restaurants. They own these banks. All right. They own all these things, bro. All right. And it says consumer spending has slowed in some areas. Yep. In which, certain things has got to get cut off because it's getting to a point where, you can't afford it. Families can't afford certain things, man, anymore. That Disney trip that they always would take, those things are being canceled. All right. Certain subscriptions, ballet class, little Susie wanted to do, even, sending your little ones to, daycare, bro, that shit costs hella bread. She costs hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars a week. You know, so it's getting to that point, bro, and which is it's here. It ain't, it's not it's getting to. Yeah, it definitely is, but it's already here, bro. All right. It says if the economy were to enter recession, it's possible it could deepen, but it's also possible it would be mild and short lived, and that's a cap. That's a lie. All right. It said that depends on the factors such as, which the factors is, bro, prophecy. The fuck is you talking about? All right. The Lord said it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. He gonna do these things. All right. And this is why unemployment is at the highest number it's ever been in the United States history, man. Okay. It says unemployment rises significantly. The direction of inflation, which is happening, and it's prophesied about for that to happen. Let's see, measure wheat. All right. So Revelation chapter 6 and verse 6. Actually, let's grab it in the BLB real quick. All right, because it's finna get to the point, man, to where you busting your ass. All right, all day, every day, working multiple jobs, man, to put food on the table. But all that money you've been working hard for, man, is gonna go, all right, to one of the ingredients to make, your damn food. A box of Texas toast, garlic bread, man, that shit finna be like fucking. That shit finna be like $40, man. All right, you people, haven't seen, all right, seen anything yet, bro. So the Revelation chapter 6 and verse 6, it says, and I heard. Actually, let me see if I can try. Yeah. Yep. Revelations. Ooh, actually, let me start. Damn. Let me start. Whew. So Revelation chapter 6, and I'm gonna just get to the point. So we can start at in verse 2, and it says, and I saw, and behold, a white horse. All right, which that horse symbolizes power. It goes into power, man. Okay, the white goes into the purity, which is ultimately that's Yahushua. All right, and it says, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And that's what the Lord is about to do. All right, he's about to completely conquer this realm, bro, which he's already done it, but now it's going to be played out in a physical scale, physical form. All right, because he is the conqueror, man. All right, tells you how the Lord gotta go through and conquer to all be underneath him. Verse 3. All right, it says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red. All right, which that red horse, all right, also that symbolized power. But this goes to Esau, Edom. All right, these the wicked ones, man, that rule this world today, which got you in this predicament, in this situation, man, to where you people are going to crash out and lean either unto him, okay, which that's the whole point. That's what he wants. He wants to break you down so that you can lean unto him. All right, once this say-so of the mandatory implementation of the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, all right, it's pushed out to the whole world. All right, so what he's doing is conditioning the people already right now. All right, that's all it is, man. He is a cunning hunter. This devil is a cunning hunter, bro. These elites, these banking families, man, the wicked, it's all part of the plan. This is why your chips is going up, bro. This is why gas is going to keep going up. This is why the cost of living and rent is going to keep constantly going up. while there's data centers, in areas, stealing all the fresh water in the water within your area, bro. Because now they're gonna make water they're trying to capitalize, if that's the right word, on the water. They're trying to boot gang steal all the fucking water, man. The fresh water. All right. Hoard it all up. It tells you, man, how this devil is. Would you not leave, a grape cluster of grapes, nigga? Like, he's a thief. It's the fucking wicked the Bible speaks of, bro. All right, but that's the point. Revelation 6 in verse 4, and it says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth." So he had the power. All right, what you reading in the NLT? It says, "Then another horse appeared, a red one. Its rider was given a mighty sword." All right, and it says an authority to take peace from the earth. All right, and who gave him that sword? The Lord bless Esau, Edom, with the ability to do these things. The authority, he has to say so. All right. He has the right credentials to do exactly this, to take the peace from the earth, bro. All right, to make your life a living hell as you live here on this earth. This is the wicked. All right, and it says, "And there was war and slaughter everywhere." All right, so let's finish in the latter end of the KJV. All right, and it says, "And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword." All right, but here it is. Let's go, verse 5. It says, "And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand." Okay, verse 6. This is the main point, though, right? Because right now, man, we're literally witnessing the full effect of these scriptures popping out of the pages, bro. All right, living, all right, and manifesting itself in our times. Verse 6, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat," okay, a measure of wheat for a penny. All right, and it says, "And 3 measures of barley for a penny." So let's go into this word, all right, which going into this word penny, which I'm pretty sure it goes into a denarian. All right, a measure of wheat for a penny. All right, and this is what, all right, the ancient Greece, coin was called. All right, the funds. What I'm looking for, a specific word, or willing to come to me. But this is what it was called. It was called a denarian. All right, that penny, a day's wage, in which it goes into it. All right, let's go to it right here. It says a denarius, a silver coin. All right, so it was a silver coin. All right, first speech word. All right, which is when you go into it, it's going into a day's wage. All right, it was it says it was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. All right, from the parable of the laborers in the vineyard. All right, it says it would seem that a denarius was the ordinary pay for a day's wage, in which now today a day's wage would basically be on an average, depending on what state you are in. All right, the minimum wage, but a day of working, all right, is how much you would have to pay. All right, for simple things, man, like fucking wheat. or bread, a loaf of bread, and that's gonna get to that point. It's gonna get that bad. Like a bag of chips, man. Like it's gonna be $30. Okay, $50. You know, in which I might be over exaggerating. All right, but really, bro, this is not a good job, bro. The Lord is gonna show you people a humbling, a great humbling is coming. You know, and that's the point. You can get triggered over some chips, but that's you missing the meaning, the whole reasoning behind this shit, bro. All right, so Revelation 6:6. And I heard a voice from among the four living beings say, a loaf of wheat, bread, or 3 loaves of barley would cost a day's pay. Whew. You know, and don't waste the olive oil and wine. All right, we're going into that into the KJV, the latter part of Revelation 6:6. It says, measure of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil in the wine, which is going into the wisdom. Okay, the wisdom, the understanding, the knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai, which the men have. Okay, because this is what's going to keep us stable within these times. You got people triggered, ready to crash out, like you said.
Man, hell no. This is where I draw the line at, man. 79 cents for one bag of the little mans, and three when they was 25 cents, and 3 for $2. Oh, man, extortion and all types of fuckery. 79 cents, man. This where we at.
Yeah, man. It says the jump from 50 cents to 79 cents for a small bag of chips is the direct result of snackflation, driven by a mix of soaring manufacturing costs, extreme weather, and corporate pricing strategies. All right. It says major snack manufacturers like Frito-Lay have permanently retired the classic 2-for-1 promotional bags in favor of the new 79-cent standard pricing. Climate change has triggered record warm soil temperatures in top potato production states like Idaho and Washington, severely hurting crop yields, driving up potato prices. All right, which we know is a famine that's going to come as well. So, bro, all this is, bro, man, the Lord got this stuff on lock. All right, everything on lock, man. So Isaiah 24 in verse 3, it says, the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord Yahweh have spoken this word. All right, and we're gonna see him do that. All right, and how this is gonna affect the rest of the spirits that's here on this earth. Okay, it's gonna move them in a certain way. All right, so either it's gonna lead to their salvation or their destruction. All right, the hour's temptation is coming around the corner. Jake don't even know what that is. People don't know what that is, man. All right, but it's not an excuse to not know. All right, to understand these things. This is Isaiah 24:4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languish and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Yes, they're dying. The people of the world are dying. All right, they are already spiritually dead because they're joined to the wicked. All right, their bodies is, giving up on them. They're decaying. All of our shit is, man. Okay, but we don't set up things in the flesh. We don't set up treasures and have hopes that we don't care about none of those things, man. Carnal things, all right? Because the inward man is being renewed, all right? But a lot of these people, the people of Babylon, America, bro, are fading away. Okay, it's a constant agitation, a constant pull away, pull back. Instead of getting charged, getting drained, bro. And it's gonna get to the point where people they just gonna lose it. They're gonna lose it. All right, they're gonna lose it, and they're gonna show it through their actions, man. All right, by pillaging, reaping, robbing, you know, in straight utter chaos. It says the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Verse 5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. All right, you see Esau, Edom fucking up the earth, man. All right, destroying the earth. All right, it says because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. All right, which, Jake has done that, man. All right, but this is the reason of why it's happening. But it's also balanced because without this, we would be done. All right, that's why Yahweh Shai is returning. That is why these things is going on. This is why war is going on in the east. All right, between Iran and America. Now it's heating up to the point blows are being back to back. So all right, talks of troops coming over here, cyber attacks, all type of things, man. This is it. Okay, verse 9. So we're gonna hop down to verse 9. Isaiah 24:9. It says, they shall not drink wine with they song what they song. Strong drink shall be better to them that drink it. Yeah, to the people. Because what is there to rejoice of? All right. What is there? Come on, man. What is there to do? Okay. No one's loyal. Everybody's moving funny because that's the spirit that's out here. The spirit of division. Okay. Untrustworthy. No trust, no love, no peace, no compassion. Matthew tells you the love of many waxing cold. So, that cold spirit and compassion and love for one another or human being, okay, it's gone. All right? People would rather be alone than to even be around anybody, man, or to deal with anyone, and that's sad. But hey, that's just the spirit. This is the reward of the whore. All right, Babylon. All right. Verse 10 is it says it says the city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up that no man may come in. And yeah, the city of confusion. All right, Babylon the Great, is a city of great confusion. This is that city which is being broken down. Okay, on an economic level. All right, on a spiritual level. Okay, on a judicial level, however you want to put it. Okay, a physical level. All right, monetary wise, it's all being broken down. It's being changed. Okay, to a lower state. The Lord said it. Sit down in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Because the Lord is plaguing this place, man. It says every house is shut up that no man may come in. Yeah. Which is getting to the point where people are being locked into this place. All right. Either that be due to, certain devices or certain, things that they have over here. All right. Or really, Esau, this damn system, this government, trying to keep everybody in instead of out. The outsiders keep them out and the insiders keep them in as prisoners. Verse 11, there was a crying for wine in the streets. Yep. People wanted to understand, get this understanding, man. They don't know what's going on. All right. And they can't find these answers, but the answers are in front of you this whole time. All right. Our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, being the men of Yahweh Shema Shai, constantly giving you guys the warning. The Lord was showing you the whole time, man, right in front of your very eyes. All right. The sign was the prophets, the men of the Lord. Okay, to try to give you this understanding and this wisdom. All right, within these times, man, where this is the only thing that will be able to protect you. All right, nothing else. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So it's done. The fun, the entertainment, the good times, it's over. All right, this place is done, man. The Lord's done a number on this place, and He's going to continue to turn up on this whore, man. All right, don't let this be, something little, go cross you and go by. Like, bro, this shit gonna keep going up. And this is junk food. This is bullshit. So how much more so-called real food? Steaks, chicken, eggs, Hey, so Lord, when this lesson was edifying, in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory with infinite blessings unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha HaKodash. Till next time I say Shalom. All right, wow, Abba, man.